Frank's Red Hot is the perfect blend of flavor and heat, so you can use an entire bottle to make recipes like buffalo chicken dip or buffalo nachos, or even things that don't start with buffalo. Frank's Red Hot, I put that on everything.
Craig, are you ready?
Hops, 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 everybody.
That's right. Hops everywhere, including with the... Let's see, we got some people selling hop crowns behind us.
Yeah, I'm going to take a selfie of that right now.
Yeah, we need to post that. So while Craig's doing that, so we are coming to you live. Wait a minute, I'm trying to get in the picture while Craig's taking the picture. We are coming to you live from Single Hill Brewery in Yakima because we are here for the Fresh Hop Festival. By the way, last time we left people off, last time we left off last week, Craig was going to the Fresh Hop Festival. I was not.
I'm just gonna, Jeff. We have to address what
what just
Jeff's
happened.
wife Sarah is at the table. She just showed up. She's looking at Uber Eats, and she saw that Baskin Robbins is on Uber
will
Eats.
deliver.
I don't know about that, but anyways, go ahead, Jeff.
So anyway, last time we left off, you were coming to the Fresh Hop Festival, and I was not, and now I'm coming to the Fresh Hop Festival, as evidenced by the fact I'm in Yakima right now.
Yeah, welcome to Yakima, Jeff. This is my hometown.
Yeah,
this is where I grew up.
Well,
Single Hill was not here when I grew
can tell
up.
because people here know you.
Yeah,
I've already seen that a couple times.
Yakima is not a big town. I mean, it's not a small town, but it's small enough
somewhere between
that
a small town and a big town.
If you go to somewhere interesting, you'll probably see someone you know. And luckily, the people I saw today, I like. So,
is it a big little town or a little big town? Because you know the difference,
I think
right?
neither. I don't know.
Neither. It's got to be one or the other.
I think it's 100,000 people or something.
Yeah. So like Puyallup, right? So I live.
I mean, it's bigger than Puyallup.
I live in Graham.
It probably feels like it feels very small because odds are if you know someone, you go to all the same places, and so when I come into town, I go to the same places, and then I see them there. So that's Eastern Washington, though. That's Eastern Washington. Tacoma's the same way, though.
Yeah, so that sounds to me like a big little town.
Yeah,
like it's got that little town feel, but it's like Puyallup's like that. I always joke that Puyallup's like the biggest little town I've ever been around. Like it's, it's actually a pretty good sized town, but it's like it comports itself like a small one.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's there's a lot of Yakima talk on this podcast. I don't know if you guys are into that, but
no, you don't think people be into the Yakima talk?
Well, I mean, I feel like I've done a couple breweries from Yakima recently. Like they're getting tons of like Yakima.
That is
but
true.
It is Fresh Hop weekend.
It's Fresh Hop season.
We are here. There are just people from breweries just wandering around like everywhere in Yakima because they're all here to pick their hops and then they're here to sell their beer.
It's fantastic.
Single Hill has a billion Fresh Hop collaborations.
Yes, they do.
Because
that might be a little bit of an overstatement, but not much. As I'm looking up, at the board right now.
We should have someone from Single Hill to talk about that in a little bit, but it's pretty cool.
It is cool. By the way, should we remind the people what show they're listening to?
I guess this is Fresh Hop Talk. Craig Powers. No, this is Podcast versus Everyone.
It's going to be that for a few minutes, probably.
Yeah, this is Podcast versus Everyone. I'm Craig Powers. With me is Jeff Newser.
Hello.
Across from the table with me is Jeff's wife, Sarah.
Sarah Newser.
She's not in.
She doesn't want to talk,
She doesn't want to talk, though.
Maybe we can coax her into it later.
Oh, we'll try.
Yeah, we're going to try. Not sure. She's looking at me shaking her head like, no. No, I don't want it. And if you see, it's that look.
Amanda was supposed to be here, but B wouldn't take a nap.
It's that look that your wife gives you. That's like, if you make me, you're gonna pay for it later. Yeah. See, now she's not.
So this should be a fun one because Jeff and I are already about 4 beers deep.
I'm not quite that many. I'm only on number 2.
Well, I'm about 4 beers deep.
Yeah, you're
already.
about 4 beers deep.
4 of many today.
All right, so you and I started out. Well, maybe the one I started out with may not be the one you started out with, but I started out with the Holy Mountain collab.
That is what I tried as well. So yeah, Holy Mountain out of Seattle.
Temple. So let's talk beer before we get into the less exciting talk, like defensive coordinators.
Everyone can skip
stuff
past
like
this
that.
part, as they usually do. But we just do it for us.
That's right.
We don't care.
We don't care.
So yeah, I had the
Cone Temple.
I had the Cone Temple from Holy Mountain.
Holy Mountain.
So they've been doing this, and I'll probably have them expand on it later. But they basically they basically doing like a contest, and Cone Temple was one of the top ones from Holy Mountain. Big surprise.
No shock there.
No shock. So yeah, that one straight up smelled like weed.
Yes, it did. So like when you had it before I had gotten mine, you handed it over to me, and I took a whiff, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
it smells like someone's stash, but it did not taste like someone's stash. It was very tasty.
Well, yeah, as I said, like the best fresh hops generally just use them as aromatics and maybe a little flavor, but not so much bittering. So you didn't get too much of the flavor, but yeah, that was very nice. That was probably one of my favorites. Actually, probably my favorite is the one I'm drinking right now so far. It's a double IPA. So the Holy Mountain was just a pale ale. This is a double IPA. It's pushing 8%. This is from. It's a collaboration with Pint House Pizza out of Austin. So basically, they get all these breweries that come in that come in to pick their hops, and because they're in Yakima, they do a collab. So this is Pint House Pizza out of Austin. It's a hazy for sure.
Yeah.
Very tasty. It's got the sweetness, more of the sweet malt backbone, because it's a double. But it's very tasty. Probably my favorite one I've had so far. What about you? What are you sipping on right now?
So I'm sipping on the Flying 5. This is the collab with Georgetown Brewing. I had to get my little Seattle fix in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, Holy Mountain as well.
Yes, Holy Mountain was also Seattle fix. But I was looking at some of the other ones.
Everyone that listens to this podcast will have had a Georgetown beer.
Yes, and I love Georgetown. So one of the things...
I'm going to point out, dude, before we get into Georgetown, Johnny Utah Pale Ale won gold at Great American Beer Fest today.
That's pretty awesome. That's fantastic. So one of the reasons why I love and support Georgetown is that, beyond the fact that it's a Seattle brewery, and I'm a Seattle guy, and a good brewery, is that they give back to the community a lot. And so one of the things they did last summer was they did their collaboration, not a brewery collaboration, but they teamed up with Pearl Jam to do a beer, their Pearl Jam Pale Ale, which was a really, really good beer.
That was really good.
Like a really surprisingly good beer. They donated the proceeds, or I don't know how much. I don't know if it was all or most or whatever, but they donate a significant amount of the proceeds to homeless causes in Seattle, which was part of the home show's deal with Pearl Jam. And then another thing that Georgetown does. So my son, I can't remember how much or if I've talked about this on the podcast at all, but my middle son, who is now 10, had leukemia when he was younger. And so one of the things that as he is growing up, one of the organizations that we continue to be involved with post-cancer is the Good Times Project. And so he gets to go to Camp Good Times every summer. And it's totally free for families of kids who either are in treatment or out of treatment, and also their siblings. And so our family's just been like super, super, super blessed by them. Georgetown has done a Good Times beer each year, and the proceeds from that go to support the Good Times Project at Camp Good Times. So anytime I get a chance to support Georgetown and I see their beers around, I always try to grab one, because I just, I love what they do. I love the way they support the community, and so I want to give back to that whenever I get a chance. And they make damn good beer.
They do, and they do a Bob's Brown beer every year. That's all proceeds go to charity as well. Very cool brewery. So good job, Jeff. I don't know anything about what Pint House Pizza does. I just know I've been there in Austin, and they make good-ass beer, so that's why I got that one.
There you go.
I'm looking at that Double Rodeo Dragon from Modern Times next.
Yeah, that kind of caught my eye a little bit. That would be another double IPA.
Yeah, just looking at the board, they have collabs with Odell, Wander, Georgetown, Colshawn. That is Breakside and Modern Times. I know my logos.
You got good eyes.
No, I
dude,
just know my logos,
like,
man. I can't read them. I just know
I'm
my
like
logos.
struggling just a tiny. I mean, my contacts are pretty good.
I have terrible eyes. I'm wearing my glasses. Let me take them off. Oh, there's a bar over there I take them off.
I think it kind of looks like a bar. That's the same way I am without
There
my
are
glasses.
signs over there.
Yes, there are things in that general direction.
All right, man. Maybe we should talk about Cougs.
Maybe we should. I don't know.
It's bye week. What could we possibly have
What
to
could
talk
we
about?
talk about? I'm not sure.
What?
Hey, I heard there was a change on the coaching staff.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
What was that?
The defensive coordinator resigned. How about that?
No shit.
No shit.
What's his name?
Tracy.
It's like a
Claeys.
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 Yes,
like an art medium.
Yeah. Or like a soil.
Yeah, like that too. Being here in Yakima, we do. Soil is important.
Soil is important here.
They probably
in
don't have
Yakima.
much
The best soil in the world here.
Yeah, apparently.
But yeah, so holy shit.
Yeah. We're
funny.
Joking, but yes,
it's funny. So in the summer, we would always be like, we didn't know what we would talk about,
right?
And then something would happen,
Something
and we'd have
always
something to talk
happens.
about. And so for the bye week, we were going to do like a general like season recap so far, but we didn't really know what to talk about.
Yeah,
and then Tracy.
A week ago we were sitting down going, all right, well, I guess let's talk about Utah, and then next week we'll just sort of be like, okay, it's the first chance to kind of set expectations for the rest of the season, and we'll just sort of we'll just kind of take a big picture view as we go forward, since we won't have a game to talk about. And then the defense coordinator goes ahead and quits, or is fired, or some combination thereof. And so now, let's, like, we haven't talked about the defense enough. Let's talk about the defense some more.
Yeah, you want to talk about the defense, or you want to talk about him quitting?
Let's talk. I guess let's talk about him quitting first, right? Because that's most important.
This is what I'm thinking. So Tracy Claeys wants to be a head coach again.
I think that's true.
But a lot of that he would have to have the success like he had last year. Again,
possibly
continue to have that, and that would make him appealing
possibly
as a head coaching candidate for someone. This season has been, and most likely would continue to be, an awful defensive season.
It's a train wreck.
And Tracy Claeys is a defensive coach.
Yes.
You usually have your offensive and your defensive coaches. He's a defensive coach. If I'm Tracy Claeys, and we kind of talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well, if I'm Tracy Claeys, I don't really, do you want to be attached to that? By the way, I think there's another Butte brand hat over there.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Butte brand hat.
What up, Britain?
Doing it
that
for
one's
the brand,
crimson
Britain.
and gray over there, dude. I don't know, but anyway, so if I'm Tracy Claeys, I'm thinking I don't want to be attached to this. I don't want to be attached to this defense that ends up 80, 90, whatever,
right.
and SP Plus
right.
gives up. In Pac-12 play gives
right.
up 40 plus points a game
yep.
or whatever.
Yep.
He didn't want to be attached to that, so get the hell out of there.
Right.
And so that's the side where you could say, maybe he's like, I need to get out of here. There's obviously more to that, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's so, as I said on the podcast last week, I said when I watch this defense, what I see is dysfunction. Right. Something's wrong. It's not. Now, are we less talented than last year?
Absolutely.
I think that's. I don't think you can argue that we're not. I don't think that's possible. But I do think that it's possible to say that the personnel losses do not suggest the falling off of a cliff that has happened this year. And so when you
right.
say, okay, so the defense has fallen off a cliff, so you ask why this happens. Well, you got a whole bunch of dudes on the back end who look like they don't know where they're going. You got a defensive line that's not, they're not overly small, and yet they are sort of all over the place. You got linebackers that are missing tackles, including, I know Jihad Woods is leading us in tackles right now, and he's had some games where he's made a lot of tackles, but I think if we're being very honest, he hasn't been great.
Also, when there's a lot of plays, there's a lot of tackles
exactly.
to be made.
When your defensive line is not making tackles, your linebackers are going to make them all.
I guess it's better than your safeties making them all.
That is better than the safeties making them all, but still, it's
But we have had Beekman, I believe, led in tackles one game.
Yes. And so I just kind of looked and I went, something's not right. Something is wrong. And now I think what we see is, so from Claeys sent a tweet that said, no, I'm not, it's not health, it's not personal issues, it's not anything else, it's just difference of opinion on how to solve this going forward. And the Cougs deserve, I don't even remember what the rest of it was, but the Cougs deserve, whatever, for me to get out of the way and to be able to fix it. So what that sounds like to me, and this is something that Jesse Casino, who writes for us, kind of threw out there, and I think that sounds very plausible to me, is this idea that, Leach maybe had one idea of how to solve this, and Claeys maybe had another idea of how to solve this, and that really wasn't reconcilable. This idea that Leach wanted to do it one way and Claeys wanted to do it his way. And I get the sense this doesn't seem, at least on the surface, acrimonious. It doesn't seem like somebody was forced out or whatever. It just seems like something was wrong and someone had to go to fix it. And I don't know if this will fix it. I mean, I'm sure we'll kind of talk about that, but there's nothing about this move that makes me think this is going to make us dramatically better. Right. Even if they bring in someone, and again, we'll, float some of this stuff, but, a name that's already been floated is Jim Leavitt, who's doing basically consulting work with, I think, Florida State. If you bring him in as your D coordinator.
Well, we know he's pretty good against the air raid, but.
Yes, we know that. But it's like, if a guy just shows up for half a season and really all he's doing is calling plays versus. Like I don't know how much better that can actually make you. So, for people who are wanted their pound of flesh, then I guess this makes you feel better. But I also don't. This doesn't make me feel like things are going to immediately get better.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have that feeling either. One thing we've talked about off the podcast is Clay's style versus Grinch's style, and that Claeys has been a head coach. Probably what we've heard is he's ran the defense more as like a CEO of the defense and less of a, getting in with, because Grinch came straight from being a defensive backs coach and still had that sort of mentality as a coordinator. And so Claeys is not in tune with every player, and he's kind of letting his position coaches coach, and because of that, I don't feel like a lot's going to change. Because you take out the CEO, then he's calling plays and making those famous halftime adjustments or whatever. And so, but other than that, we still have the same players. They're all still being coached by the same guys.
Right.
Maybe when it comes down to, and I want you to talk about this because I know you have thoughts on this, when it comes down to the players on the field, that may be the one thing that we could see potentially change. So what do you think about, do you think we could see maybe, some of those younger, faster guys instead of the experienced guys that knew the system?
It largely depends, I think, on who was making the decision on who was or wasn't playing, right? So was Claeys the one making the decision about who was playing? So for example, obviously the big one that everybody talks about is Lamont McDougal, right? Right. So you're like, okay, Lamont McDougal's not playing. This year, 300-pound McNugget in the middle. Why isn't he playing, right? This guy, a freshman All-American, whatever. Why isn't he playing? Okay. So as we talked about before, on some level, if your most talented guys aren't playing, and not just one guy, but kind of a little bit in different spots, if the guys who are your most physically talented guys aren't playing, is that on those guys or is that on the coaching staff? If there's one guy that doesn't get it, okay. If there's multiple guys that aren't getting it, then you kind of wonder, okay, so who's making that call? So the question here is, was Claeys making the call on some of these guys as far as personnel, or was that the position coaches? Tough to say, right? We don't know that yet. And obviously this Saturday, will give us that answer, right? We'll be able to see, okay, so who's playing? Is it the same guys? Is it different guys? If it's different guys, then Claeys was the one making the call as to how the personnel rotations were going to go. If it's different guys, then I think we have a sense of, okay, if there's dramatic personnel shifts, for example, one thing that I saw today suggested, Coug fans suggested that Skylar Thomas moved back to free safety. Okay, maybe, right? And I don't know that Skylar Thomas was great at free safety last year, but but is he better than Bryce Beekman? Probably, right at this point. So maybe moving him back there.
He certainly isn't great in his position he's at now.
And it's not like he's been great at nickel. So, okay, so you put him back at free. So anyway, so if you see Travion Brown play a middle linebacker, if you see, Lamont McDougal getting more snaps, or
want
Dallas
that wide
Hobbs,
receiver number in the middle.
So you start seeing some of these guys. If you start seeing some of that, you start seeing some more Willie Taylor. You start seeing some of this stuff.
I think we definitely saw more Dallas Hobbs against Utah.
We did against Utah.
And a little.
He played pretty well.
We've seen a little more Travion Brown.
A little bit. He was in on obvious passing downs against Utah. So anyway, we'll get a sense of that. But I will say, sort of bottom line, that having Rock Bellantoni, who's I think is the only guy on the defensive staff who has coordinator experience.
Right.
My guess is he's going to be involved he's going to be the play caller, would be my guess. And then I know that Darcel McBath, who's the secondary coach, I know he's sort of co-defensive coordinator as well. So my guess is he and Bellantoni will sort of share the game planning, responsibilities, and then Bellantoni will handle the calls on game day. Look, none of that makes me feel like this is going to get immediately better. I don't know about you, but that's sort of where I land. Is that okay? Fine, but this, I don't know. That doesn't make me feel like this is going to get better immediately, even if there are personnel changes.
No, yeah, exactly. They're still going to run the same defense. They're still it's still the guys that they have. That you're not going to instill some sense of discipline. Obviously, the tackling has been atrocious this season, and so that's not going to suddenly change. Thank you. It's not going to suddenly change. So we're still in for what we had already accepted. I think post UCLA is that we're in for a ride of we're going to score and they're going to score, and we just hope there are those games against Utah for the offense, that's an outlier, and we'll keep seeing them. And I believe that they'll continue to score. Obviously, the score against Arizona State, and we'll get into this next week, but we'll get the score later this week. But the score against Arizona State is going to be lower just because of what Arizona State does, right? Which is similar to what Utah does, but with less talent.
With less talent.
So it's. I just, it'll be really interesting this week. Obviously, people want to say that the program is in disarray because they conflate Leach's comments after Utah with Tracy Claeys leaving. I don't think those two things have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, I don't think they have anything to do with them.
I think maybe WSU getting 10-plus yards per pass, again, had more to do with that.
Right.
And just maybe Claeys being like, I have no answers here.
Right.
And maybe Leach saying, you should do it this way. And Claeys is like, I don't believe that. And so let's just not do this anymore. Yep. And I don't know. I don't know if it's better to do it now, if it's better to just ride it out till the end of the season. I don't know, man. But
something super funny is we didn't talk at all on last week's podcast about the fat, dumb, stupid comments.
Yeah, we didn't.
Some of that, so from my perspective, some of that was, just whatever. Everybody else is going to talk about it and just, flip out about it or wring their hands over it or clutch their pearls about it or whatever. But, some of that was, again, the idea that we are sort of numb to the Leach stuff. And, well, maybe not even numb's the right word. It's just we're used to it. Yeah. And we didn't, I don't know about you, but I heard that and just went, okay. He's not calling them literally fat, dumb, stupid, entitled.
And he also said, which hasn't been printed that much, he said it's his fault. Immediately after
he
that.
did
that's
say
not the part of the quote that got printed. And
of course, that's not what got printed. He's like, it starts with me, and which he always says, even back to the Utah game.
No,
8 years ago.
You read the same article. I read an article where someone was talking about how he, and literally one of the first things they said is, but he won't take responsibility.
He literally took responsibility 5 seconds after that.
Yeah, so.
Anyway, but I will say that it's definitely not something that's, I don't think those things are connected like you said. I don't think this is a team in disarray. The fat, dumb, entitled thing is just him sending a message. And by the way, I think that if I was to bet, I would think he was sending that message much more toward the offense than he was toward the defense. And I think it was more about the receivers than anything else. Because they could not win a one-on-one matchup to save their life in that game against Utah. Right. And that's a personal affront to him if they're not working hard
coming
enough to get
off of
open.
the fumbles and all that. So it's just I don't think this signals some doom of like dysfunction.
I don't either.
We've already talked about how there's there was a talent drain, and I think I've come around to accept the fact, and we talked about how Sutra on the Coug Talk podcast was kind of posited that after UCLA, and I'm coming around. Yeah, there's definitely a talent drain on the defense, but there's definitely more going on the defense, as you said.
No doubt.
As we've said, not much is going to change. Going
I just
forward.
don't know what can change.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like outside of personnel.
Because the position coaches are still there. They're still the guys talking to the guys. And if you're worried about recruiting, Claeys probably did next to no recruiting, so don't worry about that.
I know. Somebody was like, oh, this is going to kill recruiting. And I'm like, yo, he's not recruiting.
It's the position coaches that recruit. Don't worry about that.
And it's the relationship with those guys that recruits really lean on, so don't stress
they bring
that.
in Leach for certain things, but Claeys is not in there. He's not the face.
He may have been involved in evaluation, but... yeah, he's not out there recruiting. And
well, Jeff, would you like to rampantly speculate about who the next defensive coordinator would be?
Yeah, I would not. I mean, okay, so when Mike Bresky got fired, it's funny. So having done Coug Center now for 10 years, right? Actually, 11 years. 11 years.
11 years.
Yeah, we had our 11th birthday in August,
that's
which is
150 in blog years.
Yes, that's 150 in blog years. There's certainly an element of you learn some things along the way. Well, one of the things I learned was the last time we fired a defensive coordinator and we tried to figure out who they might hire. Well, sorry, obviously we didn't fire Alex Grinch, but when we fired Mike Bresky, we all went, oh, God, who are they going to hire? We tried to figure out. We tried to float names. Like CougFan does this thing, right, where it's like, here's a list of 10 names that might be considered. And what I've learned is that stuff doesn't matter. Like, none of us are familiar enough with coaches' names and who knows who. Now, what we do know is that coaches tend to favor people they know or people they've worked with or someone they've worked with who worked with that person, right? So, but the Alex Grinch hire didn't fit any of that, right? The Claeys hire fit that in the sense that he knew Jeff Phelps, right? So it was someone who worked with someone who works with you. That's how they landed on that. So... to try and run down a list of names at that point, it's just kind of silly. Right. It's a little silly. And I think, I'm kind of not real big into try and figure that out. Somebody, again, we mentioned Jim Leavitt. Somebody mentioned that name. He was the defense coordinator at Oregon, right? He had been the defense coordinator at Colorado when Colorado was good a few years ago. You bring in a guy like that for the rest of the year, maybe. But at this point, you're kind of stuck. With half a season to go, I don't think there's much that can happen. And I think you just sort of wait it out. I know that Leach talked over the summer about what he looks for in a defensive coordinator. He basically described Claeys, didn't really describe Grinch. So he talked about a guy who is really committed to his system and has a proven track record and all this stuff. When Grinch got hired, he got hired basically because nobody else would touch the job.
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask you about that is, what's the state now? So when Grinch got hired, it just seemed like you could not possibly be successful at WSU.
Nobody wanted to touch that job. That's why it took a month and a half to fill.
The reason Claeys would come in after Grinch left is because Grinch very much had success and then obviously was moving up in his career.
Right, and it looked like it could be you were taking over something that was okay.
But what the defense looks like this year, does that walk some of that back? Does it walk all of it back, or are we back to the point after Bresky was fired, or are we better off than that?
And I don't know how other coaches look at it, right? So when you're trying to attract another defensive coordinator, are you going to be able to convince someone this is just a one-off, it was dysfunctional, it was problematic, we still have talent? Or are they going to, so is that going to be the aberration, or are they going to look at Grinch as the aberration, right? Are they going to go, well, Grinch came in, did his thing, and that's because he was actually really great. Look at what he's doing at Oklahoma. So that's actually the aberration. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know well enough. I don't know coaches well enough to say kind of where this ends up landing, because it's one or the other. Obviously, we're all hoping it's the people look at it and go, oh, look at what Grinch was able to do. I can also do that. That's what we want. Hopefully, they don't look at it and go, I don't know. Tracy Claeys knows what he's doing. Yeah. That turned into a mess. So, I don't know. I don't know. I know that whoever comes in knows that defense is always going to take a little bit of a backseat to offense. So I guess we'll see. If I was to guess on the odds of what was going to happen, I would guess we end up with another sort of young up-and-comer like Grinch who thinks that he's got the secret sauce, and not a guy like, again, I keep saying Jim Levitt just because he's kind of the name that's out there. He's a guy who's...
Or a guy like Claeys was.
Right, like he's not employed right now. Right. I would bet it skews more towards Grinch than it does towards an established coach who has a track record. So,
all right, well, I'm really excited to have a game to talk about.
Yeah.
Again.
Me too.
I just we're not gonna we can see what the defense does, and we can see all that this weekend, and that'll be great. We can talk about football again and not about politics, which is essentially what we're talking about.
Yeah, which is essentially what we're talking about. So,
all right, well,
break.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Go get another beer.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. And we're back, Craig.
All right, and we have guests now.
We have guests. It's the beauty of recording on site. You can have people over. We have guests. We even bought 2 more microphones this time.
Yeah, we're just randomly grabbing people that were hanging around. And turns out we knew them.
We know these guys.
Friends are in attendance.
That's right. So we've got Rob and Brian from Flat Stick Pub with us again.
They followed us to Yakima. Just waiting with mics in hand to be on the podcast.
They heard we were going to be here.
Yeah,
and they were like, we got to be there.
We felt it.
Actually, we had no idea, but it's great to see you guys.
That's actually the truth. Like it was like, hey, let's go to. Craig is like, let's go to Single Hill. Okay, great. And then it was like, hey, Flat Stick's going to be there. Cool. I wonder if Rob and Brian are there. Cool.
Here we are.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Yeah, we're over here for the Fresh Hop Festival. We brought our Flat Stick mobile trailer.
Yes.
So we drove that across the mountains and been here in Yakima since yesterday. We're over at Bale Breaker yesterday with our putting contest mobile, Flat Stick mobile. We're here at Single Hill today, doing the same
65
beautiful
degrees,
day.
sunny.
So yeah, we're happy to
day.
be here.
Yeah, so the mobile is it's like a mini golf game, right? So you gotta.
So we gotta hear, Jeff. I'm looking right at the leaderboard, and I don't see JN on the leaderboard.
No,
So what happened there?
I did get 3, so I could have been on the board, but it was actually okay. So the first one I drained, and Brian wasn't even looking because he thought I was taking a warm up one, and I was like, no, I made that. I want that one.
That's what they always say.
It hasn't been verified.
I was like, I made that one. I don't want to warm up, and then
My
the
hand
next
was
two,
wet.
and then the next 2 I didn't even get to the hole. So it's kind of like having your birdie putt and leaving it short, and that's pretty much the cardinal sin, right? You got to at least give it a chance to go in.
Yeah, I'll definitely tweet out a picture of the of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this whole trailer setup, it's just imagine a giant transformer type trailer where it opens up, has bars on each side, and it has a mini golf inside, golf hole.
It definitely looks like a transformer, like it's going to fight someone a little bit.
You should see us setting that thing up. Feels like we're fighting it. It's kind of hard. Definitely, it holds our golf cart, Bogey.
Yeah.
That's Bogey's our golf cart's name. We brought him out here. He's having a good time.
Bogey's here.
Yeah, he's got people hanging out drinking beers and Bogey.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so the winner today will take home a $100 Flat Stick gift card and a $100 Single Hill gift card, and then $50 and $25 for second and third. So
that's pretty
unfortunately,
awesome.
If you're listening to this, we probably already given those awards away.
Yeah, by the time anybody hears this, they will already be won by somebody else.
Yeah. Sorry, you're not getting that money.
Yeah.
But you guys, I'm sure, will bring it to another place.
We'll be around.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what Flat Stick's up to, what you guys got going on. I know you got Spokane coming up. Give us an update.
Yeah, so right now we've got a lot of stuff on our hands right now. We've been this whole summer's kind of been, we call it festival season. We've been taking this trailer kind of everywhere. Been going to different breweries, different festivals, beer festivals, South Lake Union Block Party. It's been awesome for us, kind of getting a lot of exposure and trying to help grow the brand. With Spokane opening up, that's going to be our next adventure. That's opening up here at the end of November. That's what we're aiming for. And then Spokane and Bellingham, we're looking at spring of 2020. So Bellingham and Tacoma, sorry. But yeah, those will be opening up. We're still working on those, getting everything all set up. Henry, who does all our art and all of our Flat Stick pubs, he just finished his murals in Spokane. So that's kind of a big, important part of Flat Stick, and it's looking awesome in there. The mini golf course in there is going to be, I think, going to be my favorite one that we have yet in Spokane, and we're definitely super excited to be a little closer to Pullman too.
Yeah.
So I think Spokane, all your listeners out in Spokane out there, we're Coug Bar's coming for you. So get ready.
It's going to be a fun one. There's going to be some fun games in Spokane.
Now I assume the mini golf course in Spokane's got a little Spokane flavor. So what kind of Spokane flavor did you guys add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I don't know all of the details. I've seen the designs, and they're really, really, really dope. I believe Doomsday Hill might be in there. I can't confirm or deny. Monroe Street Bridge, perhaps.
Very cool.
But yeah, there's definitely going to be some Spokane flavor in that course, and there's a new company that's building it, and from all indications, they're doing some great work. So we're excited for it, and we're excited to see the new games too. I just saw a sneak preview of a couple of them yesterday, and they look really, really fun. So yeah, coming soon.
Yeah, and I know that I'm sure you guys will have Coug watch parties there, and they'll be pretty popular. But I know you're doing Coug watch parties now as well. How are those going?
Coug watch parties have been awesome. Yeah, so again, we partner with Helinski Hope again. I think we mentioned that in the podcast before, but just a quick reminder to everyone. So for coming in, we donate $1 of every beer to Helinski Hope Foundation. Last year we raised, I want to say, like $17,000 for it. So getting those Cougs in, just definitely donating to a good cause and in remembrance of Tyler and kind of what the whole foundation stands for. And it's awesome to get everyone together. All of our locations we do it, so it's $1 of every beer during the time that they're playing, so at the game. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Now you just so games are a big part of Flat Stick Pub, and you were just telling us about a new game that's in development. Can you give a little preview of that?
A little sneak peek. Yeah. The game hasn't been named yet, so I can't tell you what the name is. We're working on that as we speak. But it's a game where you can picture a couple of people standing in a big structure with something that resembles a pitching machine, and they're firing away soft golf balls at targets with a moving windmill type of thing that blocks the shot. So the first one to get both of the targets you're shooting for to go down would win that match. So more to come, but I did a test run on the machine yesterday, and I can tell you it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, we have that, and then we have another Pop-A-Shot style putting game that's be coming up too. So you'll be competing against one other person side by side. There'll be different game modes, different time attacks you can play. So that one's coming up. Maybe we'll be able to send some pictures maybe to you guys. Maybe you can tweet them out.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody can help us name these games too.
There we go.
So,
there we go.
Yeah,
that'd be.
yeah.
We could send out some
Listen,
pictures,
some
get the
feedback. We're
audience
pretty
help
close.
from you guys. So I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we have that Flat Stick membership now, and that's pretty fun. When I know at Pioneer Square after Sounders games and stuff, I love going and playing 9 holes or whatever. It's pretty fun.
I'm going to throw this out there. Anybody that comes in and mentions this podcast, you get a $50 Flat Stick membership instead of the $75 Flat Stick
there we
membership.
go.
Deals.
There we go.
Bees throwing out the
Wow.
deals.
Yeah.
I love it.
Throwing them
On the
out
fly.
there.
Yeah. Mention the podcast. Get your membership for $50. That's awesome.
Yeah, mention the podcast, and then you can email either rob@flatstickpub.com or brian@flatstickpub.com, and we'll get you guys all set up with those $50 memberships. So again, those are lifetime memberships, free games for life. We do a lot of member socials, a lot of member specials, 25% off merch all the time. So yeah, it's super cool and definitely pays for itself really quick. So we have right now, I want to say 4,600 members. So it's a big growing community.
Yeah.
And as soon as Spokane and the other locations
Yeah,
open up,
that's awesome.
Definitely looking to. So
Yeah.
we're excited.
And I just want to stress again, in case you're listening, don't realize this. This is a Coug-owned and Coug-run
That's
business,
right.
and that's why we like to have them on here.
That's right.
Go Cougs.
Since it is, how y'all feeling? Like, are we feeling okay? We feeling down? How we feeling now?
I've been through a lot of Coug seasons over the years, right? And so it takes you a couple of days, but towards I'm getting back into it. I'm ready for the game next week. I think we're going to come back and take it down to Arizona State and show them that we can still play ball.
That's kind of my thing. That's sort of hilarious. Like, okay, so you and I are about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen some shit.
We've seen some shit.
And so, but we've got some fans now who are a little bit younger, and they haven't seen the shit yet. And it's like, they get a couple of games of shit, and they're like, they don't know what to do with themselves right now.
The ship's sinking.
It's kind of what, I'm telling you, it's like the traffic at the website, some of our podcast downloads, kind of the same deal. Like, they're like, oh no, oh my God, what's happening? And I'm like, yo,
we still got a guy that can put up 10 touchdowns in a game. I mean, there's still a lot of things that can be done this season.
Well, this could still be a great season. There's no reason it can't be, for sure.
Right?
I feel like, for me, I've been definitely on the spoiled side with how many great seasons we've had in the last couple of years since I'm a recent graduate, but I'm also a pretty good loser. I mean, I'm the number one Mariners fan.
There you go.
Nothing prepares you better.
All that old Don James quote about, like, being a Coug prepares you for life. No, being a Mariners fan is what actually prepares. The Mariners have never won anything. So, anyway, continue.
Hey, we're looking, though. 2021. Our prospects looking pretty good. So,
how are you feeling? A recent graduate. I know once you started at WSU, it's been nothing but bowl games and 8 to 11 wins. So when we get these two, you have a heartbreaking loss and then just getting the ass whooped. Like, how do you feel at that point?
I mean, honestly, I just keep telling myself there's a lot of football left. Like, that's one game. It sucks. I think. Obviously being unranked and whatnot now, it is just a number, but there's a lot of football left. And me, my friends, everyone, I think we're still confident in our team, and I think we still have a lot of potential to go far this year. So I think everyone's got to stay positive and just continue to just support, don't fall off. Let's keep it going, keep the train going, and move on to next week.
Yeah, the hot topic, of course, is the defensive coordinator change, right? So, I mean, obviously, like, none of us are, like, schematic experts on defense or whatever, but, I mean, do you feel like that this makes you feel – does this make you feel like the defense maybe might get better, or do you just sort of feel like, I don't know, lateral move? I mean, how does the defensive coordinator resigning after 5 games make you feel about the rest of the season?
I'm typically a guy that's keep the glasses half full, so I'd like to think we're going to get better, but
sure,
we'll see. The proof will be in the pudding. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think they can get any worse in the tackling department, so
no.
Hopefully they get a guy in there that can teach tackling.
No, I don't think that's possible, actually.
Yeah, this is definitely the worst tackling Coug team in
quite a while.
At least.
Yeah, at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Rob, how about you?
I mean, I totally agree with that, too. I mean, you only hope it gets better, but at the same time, I don't see why they would make that move if they didn't think something was going to change in a positive manner. So I think we just got to wait and see, and I guess we'll find out next week.
Yeah. So let's talk about something happier. Now we have Sundays.
We're still 3-2. Anyway,
we're still 3-2, but now we have Sundays. I mean, Seahawks, but we got the mustache.
Oh.
How has it been, like, how crazy has it been just to watch that Minshew Mania? It's a national thing now, like when it was just kind of our thing last year.
I think it's just, that just shows you the East Coast bias in general,
Right.
He goes over there and it seems like no one's ever heard of him.
Right.
And you're like, we've been saying this.
4,800 yards last year.
It's
Fifth
crazy
in the Heisman.
That completion percentage and a mustache will do for you.
Yeah.
But, winning Rookie of the Month last month, that just shows you we've been believing it. Hopefully the rest of the country believes it. And it's kind of nice, to be honest. He's on a team that is kind of easy to root for when they win on the Jags. And I really like their team, the way they put together. And I think he definitely brings that attitude. I don't know. He just brings that swagger. Him and Leonard Fournette together. So,
it would definitely be worse if he played for, like, the Arizona Cardinals or the 49ers or something.
Oh, for sure. I saw at least one sportsbook's got him as the odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year now.
Yeah.
So, Minshew Mania, let's go.
Yeah, wouldn't that be wild?
Well, we'll see if Sam Darnold is out Week 7. So it'd be Falk versus,
that's a
Minshew,
very real
right?
possibility.
Luke Falk's getting another start this weekend. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. That'd be awesome.
We'll see if he decides to throw the ball more than 10 yards in the air.
Yeah.
Not really sure about that,
Classic.
but we'll see. Maybe he'll feel adventurous this weekend.
Yeah. It's kind of funny watching the reaction to Luke starting versus Minshew starting. Obviously, Minshew's had a hell of a lot more success, but I think there's just kind of this. It's probably the recency, and then the fact that Minshew was only around for 1 year. He can wear out his welcome in any way, and some people. Oh, I see a purple shirt over there. By the way, we're not letting them in, right? I don't know. The Single Hill guys.
Wait, it's a Husky fan next to a Houston Astros fan.
I don't know what's going on there.
The hell are we doing here? Anyway,
but
cut off.
But yeah, it's nice to have Minshew, and it's funny, when I was taking the Uber over here, I was talking to the guy about WSU, and he's like, "Oh, how about the Minshew? What is it?" He goes, Minshew, what is it?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
Minshew.
Yep. And here we're in Yakima, so the guy couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all people want to talk about. Yeah. So it's fun, it's fun to have that fun thing. We have this pride, and now we're all Jags fans, so that's pretty cool.
And it's kind of what you're talking about. Like NFL, this is sort of like underscored for me that NFL fans, NFL media, don't really, there's not a lot of overlap between that and college fans and college media, right? Because I watch lots of both because of the Cougs and the Seahawks, but apparently around the country that's not a thing because Gardner was fifth in the Heisman. We had the game day experience, right? And that game wasn't on in the middle of the night. That game started at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
So you would think that a lot of people would have already been familiar with him, but apparently not. And so, good for him that he's doing what he's doing and convincing people. And, if anybody's able to sort of balance the sort of sudden celebrity with being able to stay focused on what he wants to do, he seems like the guy to do it. He seems like the kind of guy that can handle it. So,
has anyone else ever seen a rookie wear that stuff off of the airplane?
No, that's what's crazy. Yeah, he's completely comfortable.
And I think it pushes on to the rest of the team. All right, we have a rookie quarterback, but this guy is confident. This guy.
Who is this guy?
It's Gardner Minshew, the truth.
Yeah, the way he was able to take leadership with the team last year. And then he's obviously doing the same thing in Jacksonville. He's just that guy, He's that guy.
Well, and the thing is, you can't get away with that if there's not a lot of substance behind it, right? If you're ever in a, if you're ever in a locker room or a clubhouse or whatever, your teammates have a pretty sensitive bullshit meter, right? They'll figure you out pretty quick. If you're not the real deal, they'll figure it out. And, so for all the, the jorts and the headbands and the jockstrap stretching and everything else, ultimately he's a good quarterback and he works his ass off and he earns his respect from his teammates. And, you can tell that just the way that he goes about his business is leads to a lot of buy-in from his teammates. You can't fake that.
I can't wait to see where this thing goes.
Uncle Rico.
Yeah,
that's right.
Uncle Rico. You can buy our shirts.
That's right. You can buy some Uncle Rico shirts from Breaking Tea
sold out right away once they released
We got to pay for these mics that we brought in for these guys. So buy those shirts.
That's right. Well, hey, Rob and Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
have fun at the Fresh Hop Festival.
Pleasure.
We will.
Attendees.
Oh,
that's
man.
right.
Yeah, we're done here at Single Hill around 4 or 5.
And then we'll be festival.
Then you can just go hang out and have fun.
Resume festival season. We'll be having fun out there. So
thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Guys.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. All right, I'm back. This is Craig. I am with Casey of Single Hill Brewing. Man, I appreciate you letting us podcast here. I know I've known Ty, who's one of your co-founders of this brewery, since I was in high school, and I'm from Yakima, so I really appreciate it that you guys have built this thing here. So go ahead and talk about Single Hill, how you guys got started, what you're about.
Yeah, absolutely. So it honestly started with Ty Paxton and Zach Turner. Ty Paxton's a Sela boy. He's a local guy that went to WSU, graduated from WSU with a marketing degree. Just has a killer mind for marketing, for merchandising. Just this whole look of this whole place was just a lot of his vision.
The branding is on point. It's beautiful, man. The logos, the colors, like just this whole place looks great.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk how great Ty is anymore? I don't know.
I don't know. He's a great individual. So about 20 or so months ago, him and Zach made the decision to kind of make this venture, and prior to that, a little bit of Zach's background is graduated from Reed in Portland, and went to Colorado, made a bunch of homebrew, and kind of used that as his resume, essentially, and eventually Odell Brewing hired him.
Who I see you have a collab with as well on the board.
On the board right now. Yeah, they flew down here and did a collab with us.
What's it like? I don't want to take you up, but like it's like being a Yakima brewery during hop selection season.
It's pretty incredible, man. It's pretty incredible. Just seeing all of these brewers that we've known for years and years come through and enjoy all of our beer and see their faces light up when they drink our beer, and great conversation, great friends. Honestly, just a big,
all these
beer family.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then you get the Hop Fest, which we're at. So, back to Zach. So Zach is your head brewer?
Zach is our head brewer, yeah.
And so he worked at Odell?
He brewed for Odell for several years, and then eventually decided he wanted to extend his knowledge even more, and went to work for YCH here in town, Yakima Chief Hops.
Cool.
And learned all of the ag side of things, the hop side of things, which is just a huge piece of who we are here at Single Hill. Definitely putting light and shining a light on the hops that we use, why we use them, why Zach uses them, why our beer tastes the way it tastes. I mean, it's just we have it all right here, and we're pretty lucky.
Yeah, I was able to come here pretty early after you guys opened. Usually when I'm going to WSU football games, I stay with my family on Friday, and then I go out on, I live over in Tacoma.
Nice, yeah.
So when I stay with my family, and I've made it a regular stop here. And really, right when you started, I could tell you had an experienced brewer. It's one thing to have homebrewing experience, but to have commercial experience, to know how those recipes translate, the quality control of it all, just to come out straight up. You guys had like multiple lagers on tap, and I'm like, that's the hardest shit to make. So I know that they have legit brewer. And obviously in Yakima, you always have to have those Pilsners on tap for when those brewers come through. But I'm super happy about what you guys have been able to bring to Yakima, my hometown. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your role here?
So I take care of all of outer market sales. When we first started, I ran the tap room here, so I got them kind of started. My background is running restaurants and bars, so I kind of helped to get the tap room up and running when we first opened. And then in October of last year, I moved into a sales role here locally. And then over the next few months after that, we started venturing into Seattle.
Right, I've been seeing you guys on tap list.
It's pretty awesome. And then we just hired just a few months ago Matt Vi, and he's holding down all the local sales here now, and I'm all outer market. So I'm over on the Seattle area for 2 days of the week.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. And this tap room is amazing. Like it's got the outdoor space, which is great for Yakima because it never rains here.
Definitely.
It's just right here in the old, what is it, like the Sears tire shop? Or what
so right next to us is the old mall, downtown mall.
Which anyone from Yakima would know.
Would know that, yeah. And this was the JCPenney Tire Center.
JCPenney, that's
right. Okay. The tap room essentially was the showroom floor. And then our brew house was where all the automotive work happened, all the tire work happened. So it's really such an ideal location and building.
It's great, and it's great to have it in downtown Yakima for sure. And just to let you guys allow kids, which is awesome.
Huge thing
that was
in Yakima.
A huge part for us. they're not here today, but the Five Salsas is amazing.
They're
right there. That's their resident food truck.
Their food is amazing, and they're even more amazing of people. So,
it's pretty great. I know what Ty. I've talked to him about. Like, he's from Yakima, and then sometimes people move out of Yakima, like myself.
Yeah.
But he really wanted to come back, and it's cool to see one dedicated to community and building a community. So
absolutely.
I'm glad you guys are here.
We're glad we're here.
Yeah. When I come visit Yakima, visit my dad, I got a place to go get good beer and a cool place to hang out. So, dude, Casey, I appreciate you coming on. I know you kind of subbed in here.
Yeah,
but,
no worries,
But I definitely wanted you guys because, you gave us a space to chat here. We've been drinking good beer all day. We're going to go to that Hop Fest and enjoy all of that.
Tonight, for sure.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And we always say go Cougs. Cougs.
Oh, yeah, go Cougs.
Yeah,
go
all right,
Cougs.
thank you. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Go Cougs, go Single Hill.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
And we're back. Last segment, Craig.
And it was cool to hear from some Coug-run businesses, Coug-involved businesses. It's been really cool to be here at Single Hill.
I know. Awesome of them to let us kind of post up over here on a busy day.
Yeah, it's super busy here. It's completely full.
This is, by the way, I don't know if you guys talked about this when you talked with the Single Hill guy, but this is like a really cool place.
We definitely did, yeah.
Like it is.
So he corrected me. It's not the Sears tire place. It is the old J.C. Penney.
J.C. Penney.
So what we're in it was the showroom.
The showroom.
Yeah.
For J.C. Penney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, it's super cool. Like they got this like neat little indoor space. They got the garage doors that can open on a nice day, and it is a beautiful day.
I'll have to bring you back when they have Five Salsas here.
Five Salsas.
Their tacos are delicious.
Oh,
so.
I did have some. I did have Mexican breakfast food. I had the michagas, which was amazing at. Backcountry Cafe, right?
Backwood?
Backwood, there we go. Backwood Cafe. All right.
So you may have heard, we have special guests for this last segment.
We convinced a couple of people to join us.
To give you a visual, to my right, if you follow me on Twitter, you've definitely seen his face.
That is
before.
True. Yep. No resemblance, though.
Is my dad, who is just looks like me, but he has gray in his beard.
That is true.
And he's to my right. Dad, say hello.
Hello. How's everybody out there?
Yep, out there in the world. And directly across from me, Jeff is to my left.
Yes.
Across from me is his much better half.
Absolutely, the
Sarah.
better half.
Sarah, how you doing? Oh, by the way, my dad's name is Steve. Sorry. And then we have Sarah, all the S's. Sarah, how's it going?
Great.
How's that root beer?
It was a great root beer.
Sarah got a good. She got like a fresh brewed root beer because she doesn't drink beer.
Had a good molasses flavor with an undertone of anise.
That's right. We need a little root beer talk on the podcast.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, as long as Sarah's here.
Yeah, because I can't drink beer, so we go to all the beer places, and I can tell you what good water tastes like.
Stupid wheat gluten allergy.
Have you ever tried root beer with vanilla ice cream in it? Pretty good. I don't know if that's a...
I've heard that that's actually quite good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've had it.
Someone should give that a name.
Yeah,
What do you think we should call it, Sarah?
What about you, Dad? What vanilla ice cream?
I think I might call it ice cream with root beer.
That's very descriptive.
What if we called it a float?
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
That doesn't even make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
So the last time we hung out at Beer Star, I had a kid tell me that they went out to Gig Harbor. What's the brewery out there? Seven Seas?
Seven Seas.
So at Seven Seas, apparently they have Salt and Straw, which is supposed to be a really good ice cream, and they had a salted caramel ice cream scoop in root beer. That sounds good.
That does sound good, actually. I've also heard of people putting vanilla root beer into a stout.
Definitely.
Doing a stout float.
Yes, I have definitely done that. A stout float.
I have not, because, okay, so I sit there and I think, like, is it good?
So, Ty, we talked about you earlier. I talked about you with Casey.
Cool.
This is Ty
I'm glad
from
you're here.
Single Hill.
Ty, who you heard about 10 minutes ago, is now clearing our glasses.
I am. I was actually supposed to be on this podcast officially, and I've been setting up for the Hop
But
Festival.
now you're officially on the
podcast. I got a call that we're jammed, so I'm here.
Yeah, it's
schlepping
pretty
tables.
busy here.
Yeah. Go Cougs, by the way.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Yeah.
All right.
Right on.
Ty,
Yeah.
good to have you here.
Hey, good to have you guys here. It's awesome.
Yeah, we
have definitely
said
sung
some
the
nice
praises
things
of
about
Single
you
Hill.
earlier,
Cool.
and lots of nice things about Single Hill. It's been really nice posting up in the corner here, watching everyone come through. And it's been a hell of a day for you guys, I imagine.
Dude, yeah.
And it's just started.
You got
really.
many hours left.
It's just begun.
Yeah.
So,
cool, man.
Cheers.
We'll let you get
Cheers.
back to
Enjoy.
it, and we'll talk to you later.
Walk by again later. You never know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so that was Ty, the famous Ty. If you listen to the entire
right.
podcast, you heard us talk about Ty
If you made it to
earlier.
the end.
If you made it to the end. Dad. So, we'll just, this is our parting shot here. What are you thinking on this? Tracy Claeys is out. What do you think about the WSU defense going forward?
Well, hopefully they'll get somebody in here that can rally the guys and instill, some
tackling.
Some tackling, yeah. That tackling would be good. That's the main thing a defense needs to do.
It's true.
And they don't seem to be doing it lately. So hopefully we'll get somebody in there that can rally the guys and get them going.
All right.
It's good. And Sarah,
Yeah.
here's the question that's burning inside me. What's it like to be married to a podcast celebrity?
I don't know. Introduce me to one, and I'll tell you.
Burn.
Oh,
touche.
That is cold. I will say this, though. The only reason I am here is because of you. So thank you. Because, like, a week ago I wasn't going. Now I am going. And that's because of you. You suggested that, so.
What I heard was maybe you should just go to Yakima and drink beer with Craig.
Yeah.
And that was your suggestion.
That was a really good suggestion.
That's pretty much how that happened. We were looking for somewhere to go this weekend because I'm only allowed to leave town during football season on bye weekends.
Yes, bye weeks are good. Bye weeks are
Unless we're going to a home game, then we get to travel to those. So I started trying to make plans, and I asked what Craig was doing this weekend on the bye weekend.
That's right.
He said he's going to be in Yakima drinking
beer.
So I said, well, should we go to Yakima and you can drink beer with him?
Yes.
So
I
here
do
we are.
have the best wife. That is for sure. No doubt about that. Her area of expertise, though, is not defensive coordinators, although she is an expert on tackling, because I'm pretty sure there's been some tackling on the Real Housewives. Yes?
Oh,
no?
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, but this week it was just a gong to the head that gave somebody a concussion.
Oh, wait, a what?
Yeah.
Say that again, a what?
A gong.
A gong?
Yeah, they were at a health retreat to find Zen, and one of the girls maybe was drunk, and then she whacked another girl on the head with a
the mallet?
Yeah. Well, she had a
Dear
bowl on
God.
her head because I guess that's peaceful.
Right.
Sounds par for the course.
Yes. The reality is, though, I mean, look, like, okay, so I mean, if you want to elaborate on this, you can. But, like, I'm not real big into, like, the Real Housewives or really any kind of reality show. But I follow sports, which are pretty much the same. Like, we got this Tracy Claeys
Especially
drama.
WSU this season.
Especially at Wazoo.
And actually, they're literally going to be on a reality show.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Also true. So, is there what is the do you see any difference between sports and the Real Housewives or whatever reality show?
Well, I watched reality shows to feel normalized because when I watch their madness, it makes my regular life most of the time seem really normal.
Yeah, that is true.
And I think you guys watch sports and create drama in your life. So
that is true.
I guess that would be the major difference. Like, one is to escape and the other one creates it.
Yeah, because there have been so many times where I'm like, why do I do this? Right?
Yeah, and like where your watching of sports makes children cry and grown men cringe. Yeah.
That's only happened like 5 or 6 times.
Only like a couple weeks.
Only like last week.
Ask the average fisherman how much his activity makes children cry.
It's so true. Like yeah. I can't even. The first time I made a kid cry was so our oldest Joshua. So I made Joshua cry when I was watching. So do you remember that tournament that we played in, a basketball tournament, when Klay Thompson was like a sophomore, and I cannot remember, but it was on some like. Remember all the
when he was a sophomore, that was
the bikini barbershop, right? Remember that? Like when the bikini barber
wasn't that the Anchorage tournament? When he was a sophomore, he had 46.
Might have been, and they lost to.
Or are you thinking the one in Hawaii?
It was the one that was on the channel that had the bikini barbershop afterwards. It became like this running joke with all the Coug Center offers, right?
The CBI. Yeah.
It was like a preseason tournament.
No, it was postseason.
No, there was one that was
preseason.
Whatever. Anyway, yeah, it was.
Wrong.
I made Joshua cry because I yelled at Klay Thompson, I think, and yeah, I'm loud when I watch sports.
Bikini Barbershop for all you longtime Coug Center readers. Also, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes, all the Buffalo Wild Wings. That's a long time ago, man.
All right, Dad. So Jeff asked what it's like to be the wife of a podcast celebrity. What's it like to be the father of a podcast celebrity?
I imagine there's a lot of pride involved.
Lots of pride. I mean, my son, it's nice to have a famous person in the family. That's never happened to me. So I'm really, excited about it. Maybe someday he can make me famous, because he is. That'd be great.
But
that's what we're doing right now.
That's what we're doing right now. You're on the podcast.
Steve,
his name is
incredibly
Steve.
humble,
We
aren't
have
you?
My debut.
Well, lots of people liked when you and I were at my office on the night of the Northern Colorado game at 2 a.m. when we watched the Huskies lose. You had some really funny videos about the Huskies losing, and a lot of people like those videos, Dad, so I think you're more famous than you think.
People who listen to our podcast tend to like that kind of stuff. That's what we call sort of pandering to the crowd.
Yeah. That's why we go Cougs every once in a while.
That's right.
That's right, everyone. Go Cougs.
That's right.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Absolutely. All right, so Sarah, we got 7 games left. How many more games do you think we're going to win this season? We're currently 3-2. Where are we going to finish?
You'll win 6 more.
6 more, so 9 wins.
6 out of 7.
6 out of 7. 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are we going to lose?
Yeah.
Who are you playing?
Well, you know which one they'll lose.
Just say Apple Cup.
No, we're winning the Apple Cup.
Okay,
I hate
so-
when you guys say that. You're
That's
so
why I love you
We're
negative.
so
playing
much.
a bunch
You're
of Pac-12. We're playing
so
all of the
optimistic.
Pac-12 North teams. So just think of the northern teams and Arizona State. So we're playing at Cal, at Arizona State,
Colorado.
playing Colorado.
That's who you're
So we're
gonna
going to
lose
lose
See, we're going to lose
homecoming.
homecoming.
Yeah.
Man.
That's going to be a bummer. But if we win the rest, okay.
I
all
don't
right.
believe
If we
you guys
lose
can-
homecoming and win Apple Cup
hold on.
and win the rest, that is fine
I was
with me.
gonna say, thought-
if someone presents that
Thought
to me-
exercise, Craig. If you got to go to homecoming,
Well, of course I am.
and it turns out like shit, but you win the other 6, including the Apple Cup, good trade.
Absolutely good trade.
Good trade. All right, Steve, what do you think?
And well, not just the Apple Cup, all the other games.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the Apple Cup is included in all the other games. All right, 7 games left. 7 games left. How many are we going to win?
Well, if they play like they have been playing, I'm going to say 4.
Yeah, that's
pretty good.
That's actually pretty good. I'm okay. I'd be okay with 4
I would
and
probably
3.
take that.
I'd probably take 4 and 3 right now. The rest of the way. That would be 7 wins at the end. Probably looking at I don't
Vegas
know.
Bowl. Maybe the Vegas Bowl.
Maybe Vegas Bowl, Sun Bowl.
I'm down for a
Cheez-It
Vegas Bowl. Let's go for
Vegas
it.
Bowl. We might be down for a Vegas Bowl.
Actually,
What do you think,
4
Sarah?
wins would be 4 conference
Vegas
wins.
Bowl?
Vegas Bowl?
Sure.
Sure, why not?
I'll be there, Sarah.
Oh, then I want to definitely go.
That's
I just
right.
wish we could go back to Boston together, Craig.
Yeah.
We
Have
can drink
New Year's.
ciders in Boston.
Yeah. That's another
Don't
story
let
for another
Craig
podcast.
Pick ciders for you. You'll end up on your lips.
Craig was living in Vermont, and we went to Boston for New Year's, and Craig came down and met us, and
We drink high-gravity ciders.
we drank high-gravity ciders and high-gravity beers, and then we visited a chocolate bar, and my wife
I vaguely remember this.
might or might not have walked out with chocolate without paying for it.
I didn't know you had to pay for it. I thought they were free. Only after
It seemed
Craig
free.
and
It
Jeff.
looked like it was free. It was just sitting on the bar.
It didn't have like a sign or anything with it. They were like right next to the napkins.
When you go to a beer bar, they have to hand you the
That's
beer,
right.
but in a chocolate bar, apparently,
They put chocolate bars on the bar,
it's
and
just
it's
available for anyone.
That's
to
right.
grab.
I mean, you never know who's
they
going to take
served
it.
Would that be called the
alcohol.
honor system?
I guess.
Well, it was,
then I
yeah,
was not
so
very
it was
honorary.
after we left. It was after we left, and we all looked at each other and went, "Wait, were we supposed to pay for that?"
No,
Oh, we made it this far.
Craig
Oh, well.
said to me, Sarah,
We're
you're
like half a
supposed to
mile
pay
down the
for
street
that.
now.
Welcome to Podcast Versus Everyone, the least integrity of all the Coug
That's right.
podcasts.
That's right.
It was very cold outside.
That
I'll
is
blame
true.
It was like 22
It was New Year's Eve in
degrees
Boston.
outside.
It was not warm. That is true. All right. Anything else? Give us 5 stars.
Dad, how cool is my daughter?
Your daughter is the best.
Exactly.
That's not what he said when you were in line getting a beer.
How dare he?
She is the best.
Rate it 5 stars. My
Yep,
dad's
5 stars
here.
are good. We like 5
Jeff's
stars.
wife is here.
That's right. Helps people
Mike,
find the
why
podcast.
why would you not give us 5 stars
Subscribe. I don't know,
I've
Craig.
had
I can only think
roughly
of
6
10
beers.
I can only think of 10 reasons why people wouldn't give us 5 stars right now.
right now? I can only think of 10 bad reviews. How dare you?
How dare you?
I think we should do
Please write something when you do a 5-star review
live
as
That's
well.
right. We like
tweets
those.
of bad comments about the Cougars.
Yeah.
Or including our comments.
Well, no,
I've
'cause
never
you guys
said
are
anything
so
bad.
Negative. You
Never
need to
said
be
anything bad about the
positive.
Cougs.
This is all positive. Everything we said earlier about the defense
Yeah,
is positive.
it was positive.
To the 4 people that are
Absolutely.
still listening. Okay, so subscribe. Please subscribe. And then once you subscribe, give us 5 stars. Give us them monies.
That's right.
Give us them pennies.
That's right. Anything else?
No, all I got to say is go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.